Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 149 of the MTB podcast, presented and hosted by Worldwide Cyclery, Kettle Mountain, and Trail One Components. Jeff wanted me to do that.
Yeah.
I'm Jared.
I'm Liam.
And I am Trevor.
That is right, ladies and gentlemen. The three amigos today. Jeff is at the Pennsylvania shop for a week before he goes on a little snowboard vacation. So good for him.
Doing Jeff things.
Doing Jeff things, and as he should.
Yeah, it's been a while since our last podcast.
That's right.
We've been delayed 2 weeks?
A few power outages, yeah.
It's
2
been,
weeks.
it's been hectic here.
Very hectic. You know, as many of you may know, we had quite the wildfire off season in Southern California.
It was a short one, but it was an intense one.
It was short and intense.
And so, unfortunately, when the winds get really high, as they have been, Edison will shut the power off to our shop, and they do it frequently. So they've done it the last 2 or 3 weeks now.
Yep.
But thankfully, winds have died down. That's pretty cool. And we're back in the shop, back in action.
We got snow at 3,500 feet over the weekend.
Craziness.
So. It went from fires, horrible fires, and just next level wind to rain and snow.
Did you guys see Ventura had snow? You see that on Instagram?
I saw that.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Insane.
That's
the beach.
That's wild.
Insane.
All
but in this episode of the podcast, we will discuss some recent epic rides, several sweet new bikes, and excellent listener questions ranging from extra bikes to upgrading drivetrain components, training, and everything in between. Pretty legit.
Everything.
Let's get into
everything
it.
in between. Let's get into it. Zach's words of wisdom. He was actually out sick today, and didn't really want to bug him on a sick day, so I felt like this is something that Zach would say.
Oh, so these are Zach's assumed words of wisdom.
This is Zach's assumed words of wisdom. A ride a day keeps the doctor away. I feel like that's something he would say.
It's fitting too because he's sick. So
yeah,
I mean, Zach is the one guy who does ride every single day.
He does.
He commutes to work and rides on the weekend. But he was snowboarding this past week and he got sick.
Steamboat. Yep, and that happens, right? You're out in the cold all day long for a few days. You're traveling. Your immune system's compromised.
Too many Aperol spritz after the lift.
A little too much Après. Hey, that happens, man. You just have such a good time. Your body needs to take some time to recover. And speaking of recovering, giraffes are 30 times more likely to get hit by lightning than people.
Checks out.
Yeah.
That's pretty interesting.
I mean, they're not 30 times taller.
That's what I was going to say.
Have you guys ever stood next to a giraffe?
No, have you?
No. I mean, probably as a kid at a zoo, but...
Yeah, I'm just curious, how tall is a giraffe?
I saw a video of a guy doing giraffe chiropractics. He was cracking the neck of a giraffe. I thought that was pretty cool.
Did he have a ladder?
He was up on a second story of a building. The giraffe was really happy. It was cute. But yeah. That is interesting. 30 times more likely. I guess electrical conductivity is not my forte, but it makes sense. Fantastic testimonials. Hi, my name is Lily, and I am the random chick who hollered at Jeff as I was driving away from the Old Fort Endurance race. Found her. I rode the 12-hour bike race, and I just wanted to say that I appreciate your work, both Worldwide Cyclery, Kettle, and MTB podcast. Thank you for giving back to the trails and supporting events like the Old Fort race. It means a lot to many people. I'm the women's chapter lead with Soldiers on Single Track, a veterans nonprofit organization that gets vets on bikes for recreational therapy, as well as an ambassador with the Dirt Therapy Project. I will omit the Instagram just in case you want to be a little more private. But happy trails, Lily. Thought that was pretty awesome that you found us on the podcast and emailed in.
We said that last pod, right?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Super awesome.
Pretty cool.
And thank you, Lily, for reaching out and saying what's up, and for saying what's up to these guys when they're in North Carolina. I thought that was pretty cool.
And contributing to our female listenership.
That's right. Speaking of which...
Soon we'll be in double digits.
I think we already are, Liam, because we had a few ladies email in.
After the last one, too?
Yes, and saying, hey, well, you're not alone. There are more of us than you think.
Yeah.
Shelly included. She said, listen, I could be the president of your fan club, number one. That's what she said.
Okay.
Michelle said there are legions of female fans out there.
Nice.
Yes.
Legions.
And they all enjoy the podcast, which is awesome. So thank you guys for listening. We love it. We appreciate it.
Yes,
thank you, girls. And she said,
and everyone else.
Stop saying guys.
Yeah, I know. It's just like it's a figure of speech.
It's like a
without
California, like, hey, what's up, guys?
Hey, dude,
What's up, bro?
What's up, man?
I mean, I wouldn't say, hey, what's up, bro, but you say, like, if it's like a universal, like, hey, guys, what's up, guys?
My girlfriend calls me dude all the time, so.
Well, you are a dude, man.
I know, but
I know. One thing that also, speaking of our previous episode, I mistakenly or not so mistakenly referred to Christmas trees having leaves, but it turns out I was actually correct. Our buddy Kevin said that yes, pine needles are in fact leaves. They are early predecessors of today's broadleaf leaves, but leaves nonetheless. So thank you, Kevin.
Wow.
And also our buddy Ted.
X Games Ted.
What
up, X Games Ted?
Gentlemen, love the pod, entertaining, informative, and despite your best efforts, quite professional. As you know, when I am not out shredding the side hits on my local trails, I own and operate a residential landscape design build firm here in Pennsylvania, and it is in my capacity that I write to you today. In episode 148, the subject of Christmas trees came up, and we learned that Jared once worked a Christmas tree stand where he became knowledgeable in the various types of trees, specifically the Douglas fir. Just during this discussion, he referred to the needles of a Christmas tree as leaves and was promptly laughed at and ridiculed.
Did we?
Yes, this was true.
I don't even remember.
I am here in my professional capacity to tell you that Jared is correct. All caps. The needles of pine coniferous trees are in fact leaves. They perform the same functions of photosynthesis and respiration, just as the leaves do on regular trees.
Wow.
I won't go into the rest of the scientific details about it, but it is pretty cool. You don't think of that, but basically I was right.
Wow. Thanks, X Games Ted. Jared's head is now too big to fit out of the door today.
Also, anyways, thanks for a great episode. See you in Tasmania. Tasmania,
X Games Ted's going?
That's what I'm talking about.
Sick.
Super stoked for that. Speaking of Tasmania, perfect segue. I think there are 2 spots left only. So we will put a link in the show notes for that, as well as the Whistler trip.
Yeah.
So
if you want to come ride with me, Jared, Jeff, and X Games Ted.
That's right.
We'll be in Tasmania shredding.
Mm-hmm.
It's like 7 days of riding, right?
Yeah. Something like that.
I just sent Jared an Instagram video of some of the trails we're going to ride in Derby, and they look so sick.
It looks really sick.
Remy Morton was there.
That's pretty rad.
So sick.
Maybe they'll let us on the old hardline track, but probably not.
Yeah. Jared, you have no business on the old hardline track.
Yeah, no.
That's what I was just going to say.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, we were super stoked for that trip. I totally had a train of thought and it was derailed, but we're super stoked. I think I was going to say something about, I don't even know. Anyways.
Well, what kind of bikes and rides have you been enjoying lately?
That's a great question, Liam. I actually was just on a little road trip up to Santa Cruz over the weekend, which was absolutely phenomenal.
I didn't even know you were going.
I know. Yeah, Andre just hit me up because he's going on the Tasmania trip. So he's I need to do a trip to tune up my skills and get used to some gnarly riding that's just not SoCal. And I was like, fair enough, twist my arm, let's go. So yeah, we got a couple of homies up there that he went to school with. He went to he went to UC Santa Cruz.
Oh, I did.
So he's got some homies that just still work up there in the bike industry. Super cool. So we got to meet up with them and ride some super sweet stuff.
Get some loamers in.
I could say that.
How was the dirt?
Absolutely perfect.
Oh,
nice.
Perfect. No slippage, no dust. Just when you go underneath the first topsoil and it's perfect hero dirt, super steep stuff. I mean, oh my God.
I want to get out there next few weeks.
And there was just the perfect level of moisture on the trails that were smooth, where it was like a skate park. It was just wow.
Yep.
It's awesome.
I'm going
Insane.
next few weeks.
You guys got to go.
Yeah.
It's super good. And yeah, we camped over at New Brighton State Beach. Super cool campground right there on the beach. So kind of removed from downtown Santa Cruz, but yeah, still very, very much so local. We also rode SoCal Demo Forest. Braille. It's pretty sick.
Mm-hmm.
We kind of
you only did a Braille lap?
Yeah, we only did Braille because we kind of got there. We drove up and drove straight there. So we
last light kind of deal.
Yeah, last light kind of deal. Yeah. But that was super sick. I mean, can you ever really get enough of Santa Cruz? I mean, on a bike? I don't think so.
Not really.
No. Maybe if you live there, but not for us.
Right?
Especially when the dirt's good too.
Yeah.
We haven't had good dirt here since yesterday, but
but
before that it's been a year.
Right?
Yeah, so it's probably cool to get some super good dirt.
We got 2 days around Thanksgiving that were good.
Yeah.
But that was it.
And that was basically forever ago.
Yeah.
But that was pretty much my most exciting local rides. What about you guys? What about you, Trevor?
Oh man, to be honest with you, I've been riding dirt bikes lately. Hasn't really been mountain bikes, but I will say after coming off a dirt bike, it's crazy what riding a mountain bike feels like. Everything kind of feels way easier because your just rate of speed is much higher on the dirt bike. But that's been fun lately. And this morning I got to go on a ride because it did rain the past 2 days. So I got to ride some local sand trails after the rain on the e-bike. And that was pretty special to get some traction again and no dust. And
it's the best.
Can't get enough of that.
That's what I'm talking about. What about you, Liam?
I've been riding the little bike quite a lot. It's kind of my only mountain bike right now. So
you built a new bike?
Yeah, I have an SP120.
Yeah, I don't know if I mentioned that last time. Maybe not.
Maybe not. Yeah, I frame swapped my ASR just to SP120, so basically same thing, but
yeah,
a little stiffer, a little more suited for like probably I'd say like the bulk of the trails that I want to ride. Where like the ASR is sick, but I feel like I'm overriding it more than I'm riding it perfectly. Where the SP120, I feel like I'm just underriding it a little bit and then riding it kind of how it's made most of the time.
Yeah,
so
that's a fair assessment.
Yeah. Just a little stiffer when you're like pushing in some proper downhills, and I'm not really racing that much XC this year, so
yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, lately like the weather has not really been appropriate for riding. It's really the last 3 weeks have been crazy windy and
super windy
with the fires in Santa Monica and in all the way into Topanga kind of like nuked some of our trails that we like to ride.
For sure. Yeah.
So that's been off limits, of course. And some trails got bulldozed from a tractor just driving up the face of a mountain trying to clear a big fire break, which is crazy to see. So that's all got to get rebuilt. So
dang.
It's been a little bit interesting locally here, but now we've got rain, so it's good.
Yeah. Hopefully it's good. We can get back to doing some trail work in those sections soon and revive some trails. I've been running quite a bit too, just because of the wind. It's like, well, I don't really want to go pedal in a headwinds. That's like 50 miles an hour.
No, so the wind's been savage.
I'll just go run. Running in the wind's way more enjoyable than riding in the wind. So.
Yeah, for sure.
Same with the rain too. I'm sure running in the rain is kind of fun actually.
Yeah, I did run in the rain on Sunday. It was fun.
Yeah, every time I would be like, okay, I'm going for a ride tomorrow. Like, I'm sticking to my guns. And then I'd look out the window and it's windy and I'm like, I'm still going to ride, man. I don't care. And then I go out there and I'm like, why the hell did I do this? This is so stupid.
I did it 2 times and I try to pick a route where it's like, I really only feel the wind getting out of Sycamore.
You get in little pockets where it's
you
not
gotta
bad.
Be smart about it.
Yeah. So I still got in some pedals. I just rode my hardtail and rode straight fire roads though.
Yeah.
Because even dropping into Sycamore on the backside, you're on that sketchy ridge.
Oh, yeah.
With a 50 mile an hour gust, you're off the ridge. Yeah.
I will say that for some of the trails that did get burned, for people who don't normally get fires like we do, sometimes, the trail is gone, but sometimes the trail is actually really good. Once the area is open, of course, I got to ride a trail or a zone that was by my house that got burned down real quick. And the single track was ripping. There was no overgrowth at all because the bushes were completely gone.
Yeah.
And your line of sight is really good. And it's kind of a cool experience. Just feel like you're on Mars or something riding bikes. And sometimes it can be a good thing, but sometimes not so much.
Yeah. Obviously there's a lot of houses and that stuff that burned. But that one fire near your house didn't burn anything.
Didn't burn any structures and it was completely opened up and legal to ride there again. Yeah. So nice. I got to check that out because it was pretty close to my house and that was cool. But the Topanga and Palisades fire obviously was a travesty. So hopefully they can rebuild that stuff soon.
Yeah. Seriously, total shame. Thankfully we're safe and hopefully everybody who was affected by the fire, you're getting along okay. Shout out. But speaking of other things in California, we are actually hiring a media person for the media team. If you're a videographer, editor, you passionate about mountain bikes, hit us up. Send your email, application, resume, whatever you want to call it. Podcast@email. Oh my gosh. Podcast@email.com. Podcast@worldwidecyclery.com. So we're looking to expand our team a little bit and, continue cranking out the content, and all that good stuff. So, or if you know somebody who would be a great fit, send that to them as well.
Come work with us.
Maybe you'll edit these videos.
Yeah. Maybe you'll edit these videos.
We're a lighthearted bunch. It's fun.
Yeah, I think we're pretty cool. Speaking of cool things, Liam, we got a new bike brand on.
We got a new bike brand.
We got a new bike brand called Stinner.
Stinner Frameworks.
Tell us a little bit about them.
Stinner Frameworks. It's a handmade bicycle company from Santa Barbara, California. So just an hour up the road from us. I've been friends with them and big fan of their work for a long time. And they have previously only really done custom bikes. So you hit them up, get custom geo, custom paint, the whole works. A lot of road bikes, gravel bikes, and some hardtails. Now they came out with, it's launched already, the Stinner Select line, which is a steel bike, still handmade in Santa Barbara. However, they've been able to streamline the processes, use a couple, get some parts that work across all the boards, like dropouts and head tubes and everything. So that they can basically reduce the price down. So you get stock geo, stock paint, but you still get a handmade bike. The price is quite affordable for what you get. If you've never ridden a handmade bike, it's a completely different experience than riding either a lot of people associate steel with an entry-level bike. And that's because usually a steel bike you first ride is an entry-level bike. However, you get a nice steel with good tubing, handmade. It rides insane. It's so much different, especially if you come from a carbon bike, which carbon bikes are amazing. There's nothing wrong with any of them, but it's just a different ride experience. It's I don't even know how to say it. It's way
Steel's
more
real.
Steel's real. It's way more riding a couch. So they have a road bike and a gravel bike right now in the Steel series, and then soon launching is the Podium series, which will be basically same idea, but titanium in road and gravel.
Wow.
And in the future, I don't know exactly when that is, but they will also be launching the same thing with the hardtail.
Sweet.
So they'll have the steel and titanium stock hardtails, which will also be sweet. So, super stoked to have them as a dealer. It's cool to have a bike brand that's basically made up the road from us.
Yeah.
It's just a little bit different, unique offering that I think, there's a niche for. And we just sold one today.
Really?
Yeah.
Sick.
Wow.
Yeah.
Sick.
So,
yeah, honestly, I'm a huge fan of the way they look, and I'm sure they ride super good. I like how steel bikes ride.
yeah, I'll be getting a custom hardtail down the road.
Yeah. That's what I'm talking about. Titanium.
Yeah, titanium.
Cool.
Nice.
So are you doing having them do the geo and everything, fully custom?
I did the geo.
You don't. Oh, you did the geo.
Come on.
You did the
I
geo.
just look at geo charts all the time.
Well, and so it's basically what I'm trying to say is it's custom fit for you. Wow.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's really sick.
So you have the option to do that through us as well if you wanted custom. But the main part that we're going to be selling is these kind of stock-ish ready-made bikes that are still handmade and still offer a really cool ride feature and a made in California bike, if that means anything to you. Made in the US, if that means anything to you. So
that's really cool.
Yeah.
Do you know where they get the steel?
It's sourced all over.
varies.
Yeah. I had a very deep conversation with them, and most materials are still sourced from overseas. That's just all of titanium, I guess. 100% of titanium basically comes from China.
Really?
For the world.
Whoa.
I guess they said there's some that comes out of Canada, I believe he said, but not that much. The rest of it's all comes out of China. So
Interesting.
anything that's US made, but it's titanium, well, it was sourced outside the US, but that's the way of the world, right? That's the way things are.
Yeah. I mean, if we don't have titanium deposits.
Exactly. You can't pick where your materials come from.
Yeah.
So
super cool.
it's super cool. So check out the brand page on the site, and we'll just be updating that as they kind of release more of these models as they keep coming. So yeah.
Sick. That's super cool.
Nice.
Speaking of new things, Trevor, you did a review recently on Michelin tires.
I did, yes.
Was that the Wild Enduro?
Wild Enduro,
Wild
yeah.
Enduro.
The MS and the MH and the rear Enduro tires they have.
Sick.
And spent a couple months on those and went to Whistler, local trails, went to Phoenix and Tucson and those too. And super impressed. Go check out my review if you want to. And I'm going to keep running those tires.
Nice.
Still got some, and pretty stoked on those. They held up super well for the abuse I put them through. Had no issues, and I'm pretty good about getting issues with tires. So that's saying a lot, I think. And
5 minutes in a downhill this year.
Yeah,
Steve goes, I'm going to take it easy. Huge flat.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So, I wasn't light on them at all, and treated them normally, and held up super well. Pretty stoked on those.
I was
That's
super
good praise.
impressed with the Enduro line. I also didn't have any flats, and I literally rode them into anything.
That's impressive.
Yeah, when I was in Phoenix, I was at my mom's house and was riding there for about a week, and I was doing a little experiment about how low of PSI I could go to. And so I set them, as I always do, like 28, 24 or so. And then just every day I rode, just didn't check the tire pressure, and it would go down a little bit overnight each day. And to the point where it was starting to squirm. But yeah, no rim dings, no flats, no pinch flats, tons of traction, obviously.
Yeah.
So that was kind of cool.
That's super impressive.
It's a solid casing on there.
Yeah, especially just like in that wide range of environments too. I mean, like the super rocky stuff in Arizona, and then you have Whistler. I mean, obviously that speaks for itself.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, that's pretty legit.
And they don't wear fast.
Yeah, I was impressed by that specifically because the rubber is actually super soft. But like, if you were to put on like a Maxxis Max Grip tire on the rear, especially at Whistler, it's done in like a day.
Yeah.
So especially the way we were riding.
I had Maxxis at Whistler, huh?
I think so.
I think my rear is roached.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah. So it was super solid and held up to the G-forces that A-Line and Dirt Merchant gives.
Yeah,
that
seriously.
was pretty sweet.
That's sick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I have a couple of those tires I cannot wait to try as well. I'm just waiting for the right time. I mean, I guess I might as well throw them on there because no time is better than the present, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, that's saying something if they have a nice combination of like durability and grip. Like that's super hard to find that perfect balance because like you either get a ice skate of a tire or you get like max grip that roaches itself.
Yeah, it's frustrating if you are like, of course, paying for your own tires, and of course you want the most grip possible, but when you're paying $100 plus dollars for a tire and it lasts you a couple rides, that's not very fun.
No.
Yeah. Another cool thing about the Michelin tires, I think, is that they have a stealth logo option.
Yeah.
So if you want basically stealth logos, you don't want a yellow Maxxis, an orange Conti. The other Michelins are like blue and yellow, which is a low loud. They got a stealth option.
That's nice.
Pretty cool.
Nobody does that.
No.
Yeah.
Take notes. Well, except for WTV, but they're all stealth.
They're
right?
all stealth. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That is cool. It did. I was running the yellow and blue logos, and it did match my bike pretty well because I was running those Forge and Bond wheels with the blue logo, and then the Forbidden Druid V2 black and kind of yellow logo colorway. So it kind of matched perfectly.
Yeah.
I thought it looked kind of sick.
Yeah. Sick. Well, that's pretty cool. You don't hear like, I don't know, Brand New Tire. No, obviously not Brand New Tire. Michelin's been around forever, but kind of relatively new lineup in the bike space. The Wild, I mean, they totally redid it last year, right?
Last year, yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty sick. And you went out to what, like North Carolina or South Carolina and rode those?
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, I'm going to have to try those out. And then I'll tell you guys how I liked them.
What does Jared think?
I'm probably going to like them.
Our opinions mean nothing.
That's right. No, I'm just kidding. You guys have a lot of, I don't know what the word I'm looking for is, integrity. You know, your opinion matters.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, you're welcome. Speaking of opinions, the best of 2024 video that, I mean, I don't even know. It took like 2 or 3 months to get this out the door, but it finally went live today.
Big video.
Well, big video. I mean, it's over an hour. It's like
it's our documentary.
It is a documentary film. It's actually going to Sundance for, for everybody to judge it. But we're stoked on that. And if you watch that, thank you so much. We really appreciate it.
And if you haven't, you should go watch it. And we put a lot of work into it. So.
Yeah. Shout out to Louie.
Shout out Lou Dog. That was a monster. I mean, 100+ products, and it took forever. So that was pretty sick. Even put it on the background, go do something to watch the whole thing. I mean, come on, that's crazy. Yeah. I mean, if you do props.
Yeah. If you're going to like watch that video, like do some like stretching or something, or rolling out, or just have it on the screen in your room, and then do something to like occupy your time while you're listening, and you're like, oh, look, that product is new. That's a cool product. Right? Like learn something too. But
that's a great tip. Don't just like sit down and watch. I mean, your significant other is gonna hate you if you be like, hey, you want to watch something tonight, babe?
Yeah. I got this really cool hour-long video about bike parts.
Like, babe, we just watched an hour-long ad.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, I don't know if you and your significant other are super into bikes. Though.
I mean, yeah, that's true.
That could be a super cool video to watch.
It could be super cool video bonding time for you guys to check out. Maybe we'll hit up a quick listener question before the break, huh? I'm looking at getting an extra bike to leave at my mom's house to save me from having to lug it several hours to visit her. I would use it for some bike park, Thunder Mountain Bike Park in Western Mass, and local trails. I don't want to break the bank since it'll be mostly idle at her house. I'm thinking of a 5 to 7-year-old enduro bike, similar geo to a modern trail bike, but with extra travel to handle the bike park. Likely extra weight from a modern trail bike, would I just suck it up while I pedal? Is my logic sound, or am I missing something? Thanks. Love the show. This is my kind of problem. He's getting an extra bike to keep somewhere so he doesn't have to bring his bike there. The perfect bike that came to my head was SB150.
That'd be a good one. Couple years old. Get a good deal on it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Probably get a sick one for probably not that much money on it.
I was going to say, right now, it is a really good time to buy a used bike.
Yeah.
Especially if you're not looking for like something with transmission and, baller stuff. Like you want a middle line used bike, you could probably get a 3-year-old bike.
Yeah.
Like a 2020, 2021 for a steal right now.
That's what I was going to say too.
I mean, I sold my Rail 29 for, kind of hurt how much I sold it for, but there's good bikes out there for good pricing right now.
Yeah, if you look on the interwebs or hard enough, you can find a deal out there that you can get a sweet bike for not that much money. So I would check that out. I think 5 to 7-year-old, you could get one for nothing.
Yeah,
but
if you could I'd say look for like a 3 to 4, like 2020 or newer.
Even like Specialized Enduro.
You can get like a modern,
that could be good.
A modern bike, fairly modern bike, pretty cheap.
I'm sure you could actually find like a 21 Enduro with TX components for under $3,000.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, or even SB150, right? Or whatever, right?
150 around there. Something around those lines.
Yeah.
You'll find it. Trek Slash would be a good one, the old one. The non-high pivot, that'd be a sweet bike. You could probably find one for like $3,000. So.
Yeah, or like what's that transition to Patrol?
Yeah. Or
Sentinel?
Sentinel. I'd go Sentinel or Spire, but again, you could probably find a couple-year-old one for good.
Or you could have it your one chance to get a downhill bike and get an old downhill bike.
But he wants to ride trails too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but I like where your head's at, Trevor.
Because you could probably find a sick downhill bike and shred it at that Thunder Mountain. It'd be awesome.
Yeah.
That'd be really sick.
Maybe I need to do that.
Maybe you need to do that. I've honestly been wanting to go ride those East Coast bike parks for so long, but it's like, it's such a mish for, passing up a bunch of riding too. But not to say it's on the bucket list. Got to do it at some point. Well, sick. I guess we'll take a quick break and then we'll jump back in.
And now, a word from our sponsor.
Ooh, yeah. And now, a word from our sponsors.
Jeff again. You guys all got a good funny ad last podcast, so this time I'm just going to give you a real one and say thank you. 2024 was a crazy, tumultuous, and to be honest, just really bad year for the bicycle industry, and Worldwide Cyclery struggled through it and survived somehow. Thank you to all of you who supported us, and especially thank you to those who supported our other brands, Kettle Mountain Apparel and Trail One Components. Your guys' support, listenership, and purchases make us happy and survive, and we love it. I don't know what else to say. Thank you, and have a good new year.
And now, back to the show.
Part 2, we're back. Listener questions. My wife and I are doing the New Zealand mountain bike rally next year, and we're looking for tips on training. If you're unfamiliar, it's a 6-day enduro race in the Nelson area of New Zealand. The website says the daily stats are roughly 4 to 7 stages, 800 to 2,700 feet of climbing, and 6,600 to 10,000 feet of descent. Wow.
But that might be meters.
I don't know. Those Kiwis, they like to mix up their units like the Canadians. We also get a few helicopter, ferry, and shuttle lifts throughout the week. We live in Dallas, Texas, and race often enduro around Texas, Oklahoma, and Arkansas. We've done 2-day events before, but nothing like this. Listening to the podcast, I know y'all have done several adventures that are similar to this. Do you have any suggestions on how to prepare for an event like this? Living in DFW, we're limited on our exposure to ascending/descending. We're currently following an enduro plan on Trainer Road, but it's not really geared towards this type of event. Our goal is to get as much saddle time and miles as possible. Any suggestions would be greatly appreciated. We also wouldn't turn down any sponsor offers from Worldwide, Kettle, or Trail One. Winky face. Oh, ooh, yeah, that sounds like a great time. I could see you doing that, Liam.
It does sound fun. Is that what? I don't know if that's
that's what Colby did.
Matt did.
Colby and Matthew Fairbrother.
Yeah.
Okay.
He won that.
Yeah, and Colby did quite well.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
It seems like a lot of riding. So
seems like a lot of descending.
A lot of descending.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're already on an enduro training plan from Trainer Road, I'm sure you're in a very good spot, like heading down the right path.
Yeah, like physically.
Physically, yeah.
Yeah.
Is Trainer Road just going to be like riding though, or is it going to be actually like working out as well?
I don't know if they incorporate
be.
strength training or not.
Because if I was doing that much descending, I would incorporate some strength training.
I would absolutely bring in strength training,
definitely.
at least 2 times a week, and yeah, depending on your time and hours. If I don't know what that enduro training plan looks like from Trainer Road, but I definitely make sure you're getting in some good strength training, some grip strength training, some core stuff like that. And then just get your butt on the bike as much as possible, going up and downhill.
Yeah,
and try to ride like you're doing 6 days in a row. Try to do a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Like try to get the Friday afternoon, Saturday, Sunday, and then Monday again, like morning or afternoon if you can, and get that like block of riding to where your butt's going to get used to hitting the seat every single day. Your body's going to get used to it. Like after that 3-4 day mark, like your body definitely adapts. It's like, okay, oh yeah, we're doing this again.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And then like it starts coming too. But it's that, I feel like that 3 day on day 3 is like the hardest one to get going and motivated for. And you get past that one, and then it kind of, you're like, yep, all right, just another day, same stuff. We're going.
Yeah. Well said, Liam.
I've got experience doing the Transierra Norte in Oaxaca, and that was it wasn't a 6-day race. I think it was a 4-day race, but we did like 21 stages. And for me, my biggest issue was grip strength and holding onto the bike for a long stage. And it looks like there's going to be some pretty long stages in there, I would guess. And my mistake was the months leading up to that, I spent far too much time on the road bike. Like I was really getting after on the roadie and was feeling super good on that, which does not translate to descending your bike for 30 minutes at all. So I was grossly mistaken with that, and I should have not ride the road bike a little bit, once a week, ride the mountain bike more, but I should have really been hitting the gym, which would have helped so much more. So if I were your wife and you, I would hit the gym, ride like Liam said, like on the weekend, and then plus some if you can, and just that's all you really can do. Yeah, make sure you have the proper bike equipment too. Like make sure your grips are good. I would get some Hell's Gate grips for that for sure. Yeah. Get some big rotors, get some good tires, and have fun.
Yeah, definitely. Maybe, I mean, you're in Texas, but a lot of people in Texas go up to Colorado for riding. I mean, you could get in a couple of like big days, or even like, bike park. It's obviously not the time of year for that, but, just to get like a ton of descending under your belt, right? And like get your body used to, I don't know, just that kind of thrashing.
I think that actually they might have sent this in 2024. I don't know. You might know. They said next year.
Yeah.
If that wasn't sent in 2024, I'm pretty sure that was like a March thing.
Okay. Well,
February, March deal. So they might not have time to get to Colorado or the ability with snow, but
that's true. It isn't. So yeah, you're right. Then.
Maybe anywhere though. I don't know how far like northern Mexico is, but some of that stuff could be good. Just get as much riding as you can, really. And as much descending. But yeah, I think strength training and grip strength is huge. Yeah. Whenever I go to Whistler for the first time, I think 2 years ago when I went, I had like literally been racing XC all season, hit the big bike like 2 or 3 times, went to Whistler, my arms just fell apart. Like they were so done.
As they will, right?
Yeah. But they will this year when we went. I was riding it way more. And they still fell apart.
I was clapped.
Yeah, like hands bruised to the touch.
My forearms were inflamed.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah, it looked like Popeye.
Literally. I would also, for these people, I would also make sure your brakes are as good as possible.
Yeah,
that's really going to save you so much more than anything out there. Make sure your brakes are good, and make sure your forearms and hands are ready for the abuse, because they're going to be abused for 6 days of riding in a row.
Yeah,
powerful brakes means you squeeze less hard and you don't squeeze as often,
and that'll relieve tension and your muscles on your forearms and your hands,
especially over 6 days worth of riding.
But it adds up. It's going to make a huge difference.
Yeah, totally. I mean, another thing is obviously like recovering, right? Like you have to put in time, like intentionally to stretch and roll out, whatever, like take care of your body, because like you'll fall apart, you'll hurt, and you won't even want to be on your bike if you're not recovering properly. But a lot of people don't even think about that. They just like go ride and then, I'm just going to go to bed and wake up and do it again. Like after like a couple days, like, you'll feel that real bad.
Definitely.
Sweet. Liam, how about you read that next question? It's addressing you.
Yep. Liam, I'm talking to you. What are your main tips on how to build a stupid strong wheel, and what brands do you recommend? I'm 6'2", 200, run Cushcore DH casing. Look for a dependable wheel set for seasons of rough DH riding. That's a hard one.
That's a hard one.
Like, I don't know. Sometimes I think of rough DH riding, like I personally would go immediately towards DT Swiss. I go 350 hub, DT Swiss EX, FR 541 rim. Mm-hmm. It's the strongest setup you can do. I love DT Swiss.
What kind of spokes would you use?
Competitions. It's a 201820. Pretty standard. They're strong. They're cheap. They're light, like cheap relevantly, but they're not aero expensive, like Aero Blade or whatever they're called.
Right.
But I kind of think of that rim as like a 1 season rim almost. It's $150, $180, something like that. But like it's alloy, so you might dent it and stuff. But if you get a season out of it and you relace it, like you can get 4 seasons out of that for the cost of 1 reserve rim. So that's the way I look at it. The other way I would go would be the reserve. What are the ones?
The HD.
Alloy HD.
Yeah, the ones that have the warranty.
Yeah, that's a really good rim, which still has a 350 hub. It's got a really good rim with a really good warranty.
Yeah.
Or I would go reserve carbon wheels as well with a warranty.
True.
But that alloy reserve wheel is so good.
It is, and that is the 350 hub.
350 hub. The HD is the whatever stronger one.
Yeah,
they have an SL and an HD or something like that.
Yeah,
and isn't there a warranty against like dings and everything too?
If it's dings and it doesn't hold air, free rim.
Exactly.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I know.
It seems to me that like that wouldn't be like a warranty thing, but good on them for doing it.
Yeah,
like.
It's not a warranty. It's a right of air.
Right?
Yeah,
but
it's covered.
It's like you hit a rock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like whenever I hit a rock and I get a rim dent, I'm like, that's what happened.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's not the manufacturer's fault.
F around, find out.
Yeah, exactly.
Jump in a rock garden, ding a rim. That's what happens.
Right. But I guess that's just their way of saying that we think these are strong and you probably won't have problems
and it's a value prop.
Yeah, it is. 100%.
What is it? $699?
I think so.
$699.
Yeah.
For the wheel set?
For the wheel set.
For the aluminum wheels.
Yeah. DT 350 hubs.
Yeah.
And that rim.
Can't really beat that.
No. It's hard to beat.
And you couldn't build that DT Swiss wheel you're talking about for that cheap.
I think it's closer to $1,000 for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know. If I was building a bike, I mean, I'd probably be getting a wheel set like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you want something like already built, then that's kind of the way to go. I mean, if I was racing downhill, I'd probably run those FR 541 rims or the FR 1500 wheel set is what it is with the 240 hubs. Yeah, that's exactly what I would run.
Yeah.
And just make sure your air pressures are good. That's going to be the biggest thing for making a wheel set last.
And you stay up on your spoke tension.
Yeah. Like make sure you just check everything.
Halfway, Mario.
halfway through a season, you gotta, but I'd say if you're wearing out a rear tire, as you're changing that tire,
yes,
pull the rim tape, give it a tension, tape it back up, put on a new tire.
Yeah,
that's the way you're gonna make your wheels last. Yeah, of course, it's way more of a pain, and if you're paying a shop to do it, of course, it's more expensive. But that's where I think people lack on not making a wheel set last is not keeping the spoke tension up.
Yeah, so I'd say don't be ignorant to thinking that it's just going to hold up. Like it's not just going to hold up. You have to take care of it. There's maintenance involved with that, so take care of it. It'll take care of you.
Yep.
Preach. Yeah. I mean, as much as you want to just get a wheel and just ride it and not worry about it, that's what I want to do because I'm horrible at truing wheels. But I mean, especially I think with a higher end wheel set, you really have to just you obviously don't want to break a carbon rim.
Yeah.
You got to stay on top of that stuff. But yeah, you could definitely see how people I got a lifetime warranty. I'm just going to send it. And whatever happens, right?
All right. I'll read this next question. Hey guys, love your podcast and YouTube channel. It's nice to support a company who actually cares and supports about mountain biking rather than a faceless corporation. This year I upgraded from a mid-travel 68 degree head angle trail bike to a beefier 64.5 degree bike for my local chunky Colorado trails. Overall has been amazing, but I have one issue. I have trouble understeering pretty often. What tips would you recommend? Thanks. Philip from Colorado.
What's up, Phil?
What's up, Phil? I actually had this issue when bikes started getting a little slacker to start. Just pushing the front end a lot, not having enough weight on the front wheel. I think it's a few things. I think a lot of it is body position.
For sure.
Just moving your body position a little bit more forward, which feels odd, but realistically, you're getting your weight between both wheels more even. So I think that's like number one is just try to weight that front end a little bit more. Then you can look to do free things like drop your stack a little bit, go 5 or 10 mil down on your front spacer. It'll help get your weight more on the front wheel, get you over the front end. Colorado has chunky trails, but they're not that steep for the most part. So you can go a little bit lower at the front end sometimes. Yeah. So that's another good one. And then you can also look at stem length. I'd say that's like maybe last option, and you might get more in the weeds sometimes than less in the weeds. But like a 40 to 50, if you had a 40, try a 45 or a 50 mil stem. That will also help get your weight a little bit more on the front wheel. Yeah. Those are my first tips. But yeah, body position. You can try to go a little bit lower in tire pressure, and then lowering the stem a little bit.
For sure.
It's all free things you can do.
I agree with all of that. I think what you said about body position is pretty huge. Like, I think if you make a emphasis on actually leaning the bike over and keeping your hips out and getting all that weight on the outside edge of the tire, you will have a much better chance of not washing the front end. I think it'll turn on an arc better. And then, with the stem tips too, or the stack height tips, it's just going to help your body already be in that position, I guess.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah. If you have free 2 hours on the weekend, set out cones and go on a, loose fire road or a loose section of trail and just do turns, like feel out where you're going to start sliding and then figure out the body position around that.
Yep.
It's a good tip right there. Also it could be because, mid-travel 60-degree head tube trail bike, I mean, that's got to be, more than 5 years old. Probably. So he's probably dealing with some sort of adjustment to the bike geometry in general.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? So
the head tube angle is not just the thing here.
So, right, he could have, like you're talking about body position, maybe he was more used to just like riding off the back a little more, right? And now he's got to be a little more centered, like you said, in between the tires, which is pretty huge. If your body position's not right, you're not going to corner confidently at all.
Yeah. Try hitting like the same corner multiple times in a row and just trying different things with it. Like, even this morning when I was riding, the dirt was insane. And I was trying to hit a couple corners without braking at all and just really leaning the bike over and trusting it. And I rode the trail like 3 times in a row and was just trying more and more and more and putting more weight on the front end and then trusting it and seeing what the result is.
I've been doing it a lot on the XC bike because I'm running such low pressures that I kind of changed the way I ride the XC bike a bit. And I just lean the bike and just make big arcs more versus like how I kind of used to ride was a bit more like slashy and pushy, where you need the tire pressure. But when I drop the pressure, I just lean on the knobs and kind of rely on them. And it's what worked a lot and like made it so I can go just as fast on a faster tire.
Like open the trail up a little bit. That's cool. Yeah.
Nice. All very good tips. Next question. Hey there. I was just curious if you used a flip chip to steepen the seat tube, but then used an angle adjust to slacken the head tube. Would it counteract the flip chip or not?
Slightly. Usually depends how much your flip chip moves the seat tube angle, but a rear shock or a rear end flip chip most of the time not only will steepen the head tube and steepen the seat tube, but it also raises the bottom bracket. So if you steepen all that stuff and raise the BB and then slacken out the head tube, yes, you'll get a steeper seat tube angle. You'll keep your head tube angle mostly the same, but your BB will end up a little bit higher.
So if you wanted a steeper seat tube angle, but you also wanted a slacker head tube.
And you also want a higher BB.
That's what you would do.
I guess.
Yeah.
I'd probably just slam my seat as far forward on the rails if you're trying to get the seat tube to feel steeper.
Yeah, and just put your bike in the low position.
Or lower where he has it or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Flip chips are kind of interesting, you know?
Some work well, some work too much, some don't work at all.
Some don't really do anything.
Some don't do anything. I'm not, most bikes, I don't really want to raise the bottom bracket on. There are a few that are way too low, and like you could afford to do that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what bike he has, but for the most part, a lower bottom bracket is going to help you corner better. You might clip your pedal a little bit while climbing, but like, you know, the goal is to corner really good and get through rock garden. So like low BB, try to keep that low. And yeah, if your goal is to get a steeper seat tube angle, slam the seat. You can go a little bit past where the max line is on the rails and push it far forward. Yeah.
That'll give you a little bit, like a degree or something like that, huh?
It'll feel steeper, yeah.
Nice. Well, yeah, that's interesting. Never really thought about doing all these things. I never really had a bike where you could throw an angle adjust headset in there or a flip chip or anything like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean,
I know. I don't know. I guess Yetis and Revels and a lot of bikes we carry actually don't have that much flip chips or anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think there's something to be said for just designing a bike from factory.
I agree with that.
Right?
I think an angle set's kind of going in the weeds a little bit. I mean, you can play with stuff if you have like an issue, but it's kind of how the bike was designed to be ridden around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think for the most part, like these like 0.2, 0.3 degree changes are like so minor. I know we can talk about if the factory made the frame accurately or not. You know what I mean? Like, there's a variance that is allowed to come out of a factory, and it might be as much or more than that. So,
shit.
Yeah.
I don't even want to get into this.
Yeah.
That is crazy. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not really much of a tinker on that front. You know, I guess for the most part, it's really just a Band-Aid, right? If you have a bike, you want it slacker. I mean, what else are you going to do? You're going to get a new bike, or you're going to get a headset adjuster slacker? I don't know.
Yeah, you could.
Yeah, for me, like when I get a new bike, it takes me a while to like really start gelling with it. And I'm not really worried too much about like angles and stuff. Really, I'm more worried about like suspension setup. And if my cockpit feels good, but the angles are kind of just what it is and what I'm stuck with. And let's adapt to what I've been given, kind of.
For sure.
I know I have some riding friends that are like, I'll get a new bike or I'll show up on something and they'll be like, oh, what's the head tubing on that? I'm like, I have no clue.
I have no idea.
I don't know.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, well, and it's like, to me, it's a puzzle. How does all of these things work together in unison along with the suspension design? Because like you can have the same numbers from one bike to the other, but one's a high pivot and one's not. And it's still going to be so much different to set up because of what the suspension does to the bike.
Yep.
So,
yeah.
Just play around with that every ride, figure it out.
Yeah.
Well said. Well, how about this next question? Hey guys, love listening to the podcast. It helps me deal with my MTB addiction while I am stuck in the house because of the winter weather. I'm definitely envious that you guys can ride year round. I just got a Druid V1 frame, which I am in the process of building up. I have been planning on going to snowshoe this summer for the first time. It seems like the Druid should be able to handle a bike park without any issues. I am planning on running Magura MT5s with 2 or 3 rotors and Schwalbe Gravity tires. Do you think the Druid will be fine if I am avoiding double black and pro lines, or would you still rent a bike? Any other changes you would make to make the bike better for snowshoe? Thanks, and keep up the good work. Sounds pretty good to me.
Yeah, I would say how he's having it set up is a good way to start. And if he's avoiding double blacks and pro lines, I think you'll have no problem with that setup there. I think it'll be super fun, actually.
Yeah.
Where you start getting into issues, and you probably have to be just a more advanced rider if you're going to be riding double blacks and stuff in pro lines with the Druid, is you don't have as much room for error.
Yeah.
But if you're riding like a blue or a black trail, I think it's awesome.
Yeah.
I highly recommend it.
For sure.
If you could bump your fork to like a 160, it might make yourself a little bit more confident in the bike park on the Druid, because usually it's like a 150 front.
Yeah.
So if you could bump that might help a little bit. It's not too expensive to get a shaft and swap it in. But yeah, I'd go thick tires like you're doing, big rotors. You could even mess around with trying to go slightly lower in pressure on your suspension. And it feels like you might have a little bit more. You might bottom out a little bit more, but you'll be able to take those medium impacts way better in the bike park.
Sounds like so much fun.
But yeah, I mean,
it is fun.
I've had a downhill bike one time. Otherwise, I just ride bike parks, and I've ridden them plenty on 130, 140 bikes, and it's super fun.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
You put thick tires on a bike like that, and it transforms the bike to something that can be different. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Druid is a good tool for the job in that regard. I mean, you can really handle a bunch of stuff on the East Coast too. You're still riding the Druid V2, right, Trevor?
Yeah, I'm loving it. I'm thinking about building up another one for myself as well.
Sick.
It's been super impressive, and yeah, honestly, what sold me was riding it at the bike park. Like I rode the SP140 a bunch at the bike park, and it was cool. But the Druid is a little bit smaller travel, and man, the harder you push that bike, it just gets better, and the frame is very stiff, so I can push it really hard. And yeah, I remember at Big Bear this summer riding that, and I was hucking to flat, and to the point where I had to bump up my pressures because I was just hucking to flat. But that's just me, and it was fun.
No, that bike is super rewarding the harder you push it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's so fun.
And it just, yeah, I know confidence inspiring is thrown around a lot, but it really is.
It really is.
Yeah.
No,
definitely, it's definitely not your XC130 travel bike.
No.
And it definitely punches two weights above its weight class.
Yeah,
For sure.
Me and Trevor were both in Utah, and he was on the Druid 130, and I was on a Rascal 130. But like, those two bikes ride so much differently.
So different.
The Rascal is like a BMX bike. So fun, pretty rewarding when you pedal into it and like, pumping and all that stuff. But you we rode, I don't know what we rode down.
Grafton.
It's a chunky proper DH.
Sure.
And Trevor's just smashing up on me. And I'm like kind of tiptoeing down this thing because I'm like, oh, this is, can get spicy fast on this bike.
The Druid plows.
And they're saying 130 rears.
Yeah.
Totally different.
It plows. Yeah. That's what I rode on.
Jared had the Druid on the St. George trip.
I was like, that was...
And it was cool.
Where else did you have the Druid? And Jeff Italy. And Jeff was riding behind Jared and goes, I think I'm building up a Druid next. Because Jared's just heels down plowing while we're getting bounced all over the place on these trails. Yeah.
Oh, it's such a good bike, man. I do miss it.
It's a good time. It's definitely, it's progressive for sure. It's cool.
Yeah.
Big fan.
Sick.
Yeah. Big fan.
Yeah. You just need the right environment to really take advantage of the full potential of that thing.
Mm-hmm.
And you're not doing that out my back door.
No.
Not out your back door, but out over there you can.
Over there you can.
Just drive 10 minutes.
Oh, man. Maybe there will be a Druid in my future. Forbidden would be sick. I love those bikes.
Yeah.
All right. One last question.
I got it. I'm looking to upgrade my drivetrain area and looking at different jockey wheels. What would you like for recommendations? Also, is it worth it to buy a cable jockey wheel for my derailleur, like a bike yoke shifty? And finally, what's your opinion on muck off ludicrous lube? I know that's a long one, but love the podcast.
Yeah, not that long of a question, but appreciate
so
it.
I have ran Kogel ceramic bearings on a bike. It was a race bike that I had, and we were sponsored by Kogel, and they were cool because they won't really break on you, and I've never had a pulley break on me, so that's one thing.
Yeah.
It was kind of loud. The chain not really pedaling loud, but like vibration from riding down the trail. It would kind of clap around a bunch.
With the alloy pulley wheels? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's what he's asking here, but
I think it is.
I don't know. I guess it's, why are you upgrading? Are you upgrading for saving watts? And if so, I go ceramic speed. Like, they're the experts. They're the best. If you're looking to save watts, otherwise, I don't know. I don't really know if upgrading the jockey wheels is like a necessary thing. Like you said, they're kind of loud. Some of the metal ones, a lot of them are plastic because they are quiet.
Might wear out your drivetrain a little faster.
Might wear out your drivetrain faster.
That's true.
So like the stock ones, and just keep them fresh, keep them lubed up, keep them clean.
Yeah,
but
keep them lubed is essential.
If you're and like your chain clean, if you're really looking to save watts, then ceramic speed's the expert in watt savings.
Yeah.
So,
otherwise, the stock ones are pretty dang good.
And
right?
The cable jockey wheel for the derailleur, I guess it could work. Kind of in the same thing, like can make it a little bit smoother. But again, like if you just keep the stock one really clean, keep your cable and housing really clean, and change that out and service
What is he talking about? Cable jockey wheel.
So like I think on the SRAM derailleur that goes around.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
So you put that on your derailleur, and then it basically is like a smoother bearing
for where the shifter cable is going on there.
Yeah,
gotcha.
So same kind of thing. Like
never even thought about that.
Yeah, it might make like a minor improvement, but I think the biggest thing is going to be friction in that cable and housing running from end to end. Making sure it's short and as straight as possible will make a bigger difference, I think, than just that bike yoke shifty.
Yeah, run like a cable through just the raw housing, and if you want nothing, no friction at all.
Yeah, buying a nice cable and housing, like we use specific cable and housing. That's we don't use baller stuff, but we definitely don't use basic stuff here.
Yeah,
we kind of use middle of line stuff. When I used to build road bikes a lot, I used baller like Yokozuna cable and housing. That you'd buy like kits of. It wasn't like just bulk stuff.
Yeah,
and it makes a huge difference
Really?
on a road bike.
I guess on. When I've built up road bikes before too, I would run like Dura-Ace cables because they were coated in this crazy Teflon coating or something like that.
Yeah.
And they were good and it made your shifting absolutely frictionless. But I will say with those Dura-Ace cables, the coating would kind of bunch up sometimes.
And it causes more friction.
It causes more friction. So the Ultegra cables were better because they were still coated with something.
Yeah,
but there was no bunching up with that. But those Dura-Ace ones, when they're new, are insane.
Yeah, I found the same thing with the Dura-Ace.
It's funny.
And then, muck off ludicrous lube. I don't actually have any experience with that, but I'm just going to throw my lube recommendation out there. Squirt, man.
Squirt.
Clean drivetrain, put on 2 layers of Squirt. It is my go-to lube, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never used, I don't have any experience with that either.
I mean,
Neither do I.
I think I'm like, I don't know. Oil-based lubes to me are just, they can only be so good and so clean, in my opinion.
Yeah, if you were
unless you ride, of course, you're riding in wet stuff, then yeah.
That's what I was going to say.
But I
don't think ludicrous lube is going to be good on wet stuff.
Yeah, I don't know.
That sounds like more of a ceramic stuff.
Yeah,
super
almost
dry,
like
high end
road bike. Almost like if you're gonna not get it super dirty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Keeping it clean is the most important thing.
Mm-hmm.
Keeping it clean, just lubed.
All of us here use Squirt 100% of the time.
Yeah.
I'll use sometimes Silka on my road bike, but that's because we got like a big kit of it.
I have started to try out the Motor X lube.
Yeah.
Shimano, or I guess Shimano bought Motor X.
Oh, did they?
Maybe they are.
The wax one? Yeah, do you like it?
Yeah, it's kind of the same thing as Squirt though.
Really?
Yeah, the Motor X stuff.
Okay.
So that's saying something. Motor X is a pretty big company. And they're pretty legit. So
nice.
They're making a wax-based lube just like that.
Sick. That's good to know.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I am totally converted to the wax-based stuff.
Yeah, like, I mean, we'll do like a little chain waxing party and do the full crock pot, but then I only do that every maybe 6-8 weeks or something.
Once every 2 months maybe.
Yeah, and then I top off with Squirt. Road bike, I'll top off with Silka a little bit more than Squirt just because it doesn't last as long though, but you don't need to on the road bike. And then I have some ceramic speed stuff for race day, but
fancy.
That's it. Yeah.
That's it. Yeah, that's it. That's all.
Keep it clean.
Keep it clean. Keep it lubed.
Keep it mean.
Keep it clean. Keep it mean. That's right. Well, that just about wraps this one up. Thank you all so much for listening. We truly do appreciate it. And if you haven't already, you can screenshot your review of this fantastic podcast and email it to podcast@worldwidecyclery.com, and we will give you
$15 gift card.
$15 gift card. I think
Boom.
that'll be the first time he's ever gotten it, just on the first try.
I was hoping it wasn't 10. I just said 15, and it's like, well, now we're doing 15.
You got it. And thank you so much, everybody. Good night and good luck.
See ya.
Cheerio.
Love ya.